Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go fast. I have the J, which is a good scoring tile. I don't have a bingo. I can't see but I can. A play which puts the J on this double letter square. G-Lab works. NR is not a great keep, but the score is going to be good. 44. Well, this looks close to a bingo. I've got the over prefix with RNT, but I don't think over-rent or over-rant is good. Invertor would be good through an I. This looks quite tantalizing. I feel there could be a bingo with the existing floaters, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking at the A, but nothing's coming to mind. Well, I can't see a bingo. So do I have anything running through the J? And I'm looking to play off the V, both to score and to improve my bingo prospects. Well, I don't have a 5-letter JV play that I can see. I'm also looking to split up the duplicate R, so a play of Vor would do that, and that plays at I3, and that's still available. Now my opponent has provided an I, but it's not available for invertor. A couple of 2-letter sets to consider, HA and OB for bingos, but I can't see anything there. So do I play Vor at I3? Is there a better play? Well, I think this is the best I can see. Quite a good rack leave, not fabulous. Well, no scoring tiles, and I can't see a 7-letter bingo. I'll be looking to play off the U and one of the R's, and probably the O as well. A play of Aurn, O-U-R-N, would probably give me the best rack leave, but it's not going to score very much. Now I can use the same tiles to make Journo in column 4. 26 points. I'm looking at ER in column 5. Great, Journo stays available. 33 points for my opponent, and no real opportunities opened up by him. Journo for 26. I have Terra Ohm. That plays in row F, above the eye of Hoy. I can't see anywhere else for it, so I hope that stays available. Ah, well, there is somewhere else. There's column 10, because Yipe is good. I'm now looking at the floaters in Journo to see if I have an 8-letter play. Great, only 8 points for my opponent. If I play Terra Ohm in column 10, making Yipe, I'm stopping one square short of row O, and Terra Ohm does take an S. But if I play in row F, I'm placing an M in column 15, so both moves are opening up triple word squares. No S's played so far. Terra Ohm 79. Great, I draw the X, and I've got some vowels to go with it, although they are all E's. It would be nice to play off either the W or the B, and preferably the W. Wex is good, both as a 3 and 4 letter play. I'm looking around the board for spots for the X, and I can't see anywhere for Wex so far. Noob is good, N-E-W-B. Oh, well, there is a spot for Wex, column 11, making T-E. Hopefully my opponent will be distracted by the bottom end of Terra Ohm. Hey takes an S in front, and I think that's it. Now what about column 5? Do I have anything coming down onto ER? I've got a 100-point lead, which is quite good, but my opponent's on turn, and a bingo would eat into that significantly. Yep, 72 points. So my lead is reduced to 33 points. I could play newbie in column 12, but I think Wex in column 11 is the better play. I'm looking at the new floaters in arcading to see if there is a higher scoring X play. I haven't seen one so far. Arcading takes an S at the end, so this board is quite volatile. And playing Wex here, it scores well. I'm opening up a spot for my B, so I should be able to keep scoring. No duplicates, but too many scoring tiles. I don't have a bingo here. I could play cab in column 10, making OR and B. What else is available? 22 points for my opponent. Now I note that column 14 allows an ING play, so I could play baking, which would keep EV. Difficult to have a good rack leave, given the starting position. I'm looking in column 2 to see if one of my high-scoring tiles can go on the triple letter square at J2, but I don't have anything to front hook roll. Now I'm looking at the score for baking. 36 points, pretty good. Now I'm wondering if I've got an ING play which uses the V, which would obstruct my opponent's use of column 15. I'm wondering about keeving, but I don't think it's good. Now, baking is going to allow a really high scoring response because the K is right next to the triple letter square and it takes an A, I, O and Y after it. So 36 points there, maybe there's a better spot. I'm looking in column 12 to see if I've got a play running parallel to Wex, and in particular one which places an I next to the X. So that would be something E, something I. I've got Bavin on my rack. This is a tricky rack. Bacon is good. Well, I think I will go with baking. It does at least have score and turnover in its favour. Turnover not always good, but in this instance it is, since my rack is so unbingo-y. Baking 36. That looks good. I have vegetal. Is there anywhere for it to play? Well, there is at the moment. Column 15 making bar and al, and also column 13 making ab and la. It doesn't quite play in column 12 because XA doesn't work. Vegetal takes an A. So Vegetal takes an S at the end. Were I to get it down? No space at the bottom of column 2 for a 7-letter play, hooking roll. 46 points for my opponent, and all of my vegetal spots have been taken, and that S is just tantalisingly one square too low for vegetals. Well, not too surprising, since that spot was so hot. "12 minutes left, 35 tiles in the bag." Now, can I play in column 2, placing my V on the triple letter square at J2? So V something, something, T, something. Can't see anything. Now I note that my V can go in column 12 in front of in, as can my G, so I could play give down here, which would sort the rack out. Only 20 points. I've got a 30-point lead, so I want to keep scoring. Now, what about column 12? I could play Gavel. 25 points. I don't have anything to go after the X. Tricky rack. Gleave would sort it out, but nowhere for that. I could play Ravel in column 8, but I would prefer to play off the G. The G and the V are both unbingo-y tiles. Still 3 S's and a blank to come, so this Terra Ohm hook is pretty hot. But I'm not going to be taking it out straight away. I'm just wondering if there's a play with the V where the G is, which also uses the G. Don't think there is. 20 points. Ooh, I think I just picked up 3 E's there. No scoring tiles, so I'm going to struggle to score here. I could play Re8 in column 8. Well, that could have been worse. I'm still ahead after that hot spot has been taken out. And the board is quite tight, so maybe I just need to keep it tight. I could play TEE in column 12, making we and E. 13 points. That's the trouble with this rack. The scores are likely to be really low. There's still another hotspot for S words. Row F, making Shay. But back to this rack, what can I do with it? I could play A-L-E-E, because I need to sort out the vowel consonant imbalance. I'm looking in row N to see if I can play above Tartars and also use the M for score. Well, I could just play team in that spot. Retaining the L isn't a disaster since all the other L's have been played. So let me see what this looks like. £12 points. Pretty poor. Can I do better? I don't want to play in column 2 making troll because I'm going to score only about 20 points and I'll be opening up column 1, which I don't want to do. That team just feels too weak. What about eel across here? £15 points. Well, that's a better score. But I'd still like to play off one more vowel. Can I do that? Well, I'm not sure that I can. E-A-L-E would achieve that. I'm just wondering about Neil. N-E-A-L-E through the N of journo. But I'm not confident about that. Well, I think I will go with this, but I don't feel good about it. Great, I draw the Z, and that's good for 2 reasons, or more than 2 reasons. It means my opponent doesn't have it, it means I can score off it, and it means that my vowel preponderance is an asset rather than a liability, since the high-scoring tiles, including the Z, go well with vowels. So where can my Z play? 16 points for my opponent. My Z can't go in front of the E of wax to make a 2-letter word. But I could play Z-E-A in that spot for 32 points, so I am going to score well here. What would be nice would be a play down through the U ending O-Z, but I don't have one. So, what can I do here? Well, I could play down here. I could play Zoea. Rack leaves atrocious. 45 points, which is a lot more than Zia. My opponent could score using the Z, but then I'd be able to score immediately above it. I am interrupting row C as a bingo lane for bingos ending above the F or U. So there is some merit in this play. 6 minutes on the clock and 20 tiles left, so I think I do need to play, to speed up my play. Great, I draw the blank. And this is a pretty decent set of tiles, and I'm 50 or 60 points in the lead. Do I have a playable bingo? Do I have torturers? Don't think so. I was looking in column 5 for that. I have torture as a 7 on the rack, but in terms of playable 7s, I think I'm looking at bingos ending in S. And with the blank as an S, there's outsert. And I think Touters is good. Outsert, Stouter, Touters, possibly one other. But playing Touters is going to place the T in column 1 and allow a big comeback by my opponent. If I play in column 5, I have the same problem if the word ends ER, but I don't have it if the play ends ERS. That's why I was looking at the Torturer's play. Now, what about a play through the Z? I'm looking at words beginning out, and that leaves TREZ blank. Well, tutorize. Well, that's worth considering. That opens up all three triple word squares in row A, and there's some merit in that because my opponent is not going to, or is unlikely to take all 3 of those, so I am likely to have a choice of 2 after my opponent plays. This is quite a significant point in the game. Only 15 tiles left when I bingo, which I think I will. There'll be very few tiles in the bag, so it'll be good to bingo and have scoring prospects for the following turn. Now, Tutorize has been taken out. iPod isn't good. So I'm left with Touters. I'm just pausing in case I have something through PO, and that could end above the F, so it could end PO something E. Can't see anything there, so I'm going to go with Touters. I have a small doubt about this word, but I'm playing it anyway because of the smallness of the doubt. Touters and Shay, 69. Pretty good pickup. Scoring tile in the W. And fairly balanced. 5 minutes on my clock, 11 on my opponent's. I'm looking in column 2 to see if I can place my W on the triple letter square at J2 and also make droll. And annoyingly, I don't think I can. I've got wind, but I'm looking for a 5 or 6 letter play so that the play gets doubled. So another W, I could have window. I was going to say downy, but that doesn't hook roll. But wind in itself is a 20-point play. I'm expecting my opponent to play in column 1. But he may not. If he needs a bingo to win, and he's 110 points behind, if he hasn't got a bingo, he might leave that open and try and open another bingo lane elsewhere. So the T could remain available. It doesn't. My opponent gets 30 points. 1 tile in the bag. The remaining tiles are not bingo-y, only 1 vowel. 5 minutes on my clock. What can I do here? I don't have anything to go in front of Po, so I don't have a play in column 8. I could play zoned. I'm going to have at least 2 plays. My opponent is not bingoing. I could play Zowie, but I'd like to hang on to 1 or 2 vowels. 30 points for zoned. Still 2 S's out there, so the Arcadings hook is available. Zoned has the merit of splitting up the ends as well as scoring well. It would be so nice to play in column 2 though, because if I can play off 5 tiles, I'm increasing the likelihood that I can play out next go. So I'm just considering what that play would look like. So a play beginning wend, wind, or wand. I don't think there is one there. I'm going to go with zoned. I'm retaining a vowel and the W, which is a good scoring tile. So I'm getting 30 points now. I ought to be getting a good score, a score of 20 or 30 next go as well, by keeping this rack leave. Wow, only one vowel rather, amongst the remaining 8 tiles, and it was the tile in the bag, so my opponent has no vowels. I have inwit, which plays in column 4 onto the T of touters. Do I have a second out? If I don't, I've got win above the E of zoned, where my opponent's gone, so I've got inwit down here. $16 points. Do I have something better? I would have had whinier onto this ER, but it's been blocked by the E. Where else might I be able to go out? Well, I think this is all I can see, but it's good enough. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 314 to my opponent, 453 to me, a winning margin of 139 points. So massive, massive win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. Jelab looks best for 44. Benj was the alternative I probably would have played if I hadn't seen it. My opponent's rack, he plays Hoy. And, wow, I didn't consider Vrot. Only 19 points. And a mediocre rack lead, but I didn't spot it. What did I do? I played Vor in that spot. So I think ENR... Well, actually, I prefer my rack leave of ENRT and the 2 extra points. So although I didn't spot Vrot, I don't think it's a better play. My opponent's rack, he plays Yip. And this is my rack, and Journo looks fine. My opponent's rack, well, he had vowel problems at the beginning of the game as well as the end. He played Roll, and this was my Terra Ohm play, J8. Ah, look at that. There was a play in row J making Obit and PE. As with the column 10 play, it stops 1 square short of the triple word lane and only 1 point difference in score, but it would have still been nice to have spotted that lane. Now this is my opponent's rack. He played arcading. He could have also played chording and crowding and some others. My rack, I played Wex and T. That looks fine. My opponent's rack, he plays Chin, and this was a tricky rack. I played Baking for 36, but it opened up column 15 for a massive score by my opponent. Now I could have played Knive at A12, and that is a lot less dangerous, because although my opponent can play in row A, he's probably restricted to about 30 points, whereas placing the K next to this triple word square allowed my opponent to come back with a 40-point play, so I prefer Knive. This was my opponent's rack. He played Sega for 46. I have Vegetal, nowhere to play it. And I took a while over this rack. I wanted to play off the G and the V, but couldn't find anywhere great. I played Give in the end. Not on this list. Well, yeah, Gavel down here, pretty good. G and A, not particularly useful floaters. And 25 points, so probably a better play than Give. My opponent's rack, he now does have a lot of vowels. Nice play, nice word, Tartars. And I have a lot of E's. Ah, well, it wasn't N-E-A-L-E, it was N-E-E-L-E. And that rack leave is better than the one I came up with, so eel, not as good as some of these plays. My opponent's rack, he plays Fuds. And I'm grateful to see the Z. I play Zoea at B10 down. I could have had a much better rack lead by sacrificing 8 points by playing Azote, but that's not a better move because it's opening up column 1. So I like Zoea despite the poor rack leave. My opponent's rack, he plays Pod. Now this was my Touter's rack, and that was the only playable bingo, so I'm pleased to have spotted it. My opponent's rack, let's see what he has here. Well, he could have got scuffed by making arcadings for 51. That probably would have been his best play. It would have emptied the bag. Anyway, he played Cutie. This was my rack. Zowie I don't like, given that there is only one vowel amongst the remaining tiles, and I wasn't to know that that vowel was in the bag. Zendo. That's one of the new words, an anagram of zoned. Minnow. Minnow and given. Quite nice. Well, any of those top moves are fine, apart from the first one, because it burns the vowels. My opponent's rack, he plays Menu. And finally, Inwit was the only outplay. So that was the end of that. High scoring game. Big winning spread and some interesting racks. And as always, better moves not played or not seen. So always plenty of depth in any game of Scrabble. So I hope you enjoyed watching that and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.